This is Tom Rossback from Honeywell. You're listening to Control Talk Now with Ken Smyers and Eric Stromquist.
Welcome to Control Talk Now. This is your host, Eric Stromquist. In a bit of a mellow mood after Thanksgiving, eating lots of turkey. But hey, I tell you what, I'm getting ready to get revved up because as we start Control Talk Now, your news of the week, I am joined, as usual, by the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only, Kenny Smyers from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Kenny, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much. I have to say we're in the cold season now. We're, of course, the time's right. Snow, ice everywhere, but the year's coming to an end, and it's a really exciting time period around here. We're getting ready for the holidays, and we're getting ready for the biggest event of our year, and that's the Control Trends Awards. So we're gonna have a great show. Got some great guests coming on, and got 4 great sponsors to talk about to introduce the show.
Well, we really do. And I guess before we get to the sponsors, Kenny, a special thanks to Tom Rossback for that great introduction. Kenny, as you know, Tom is up for the 2013 HVAC Controls Executive of the Year. You and I had an opportunity to speak with Tom a while back. We had an interview with him. He was very candid about what was going on with Honeywell. Tom's an impressive guy. He's making some really good changes over at Honeywell. So thanks again to Tom. And we got several candidates, great candidates up for that Executive of the Year, Kenny. Starting with, Tom Rossback, Chris Eichmann, who I think is going to be on later in the show, on the show next week. Mike Marston, who we'll hear from later in the show. Lars Vanderhagen from Belimo, super good guy Lars is. Hope we can get Lars on the show as well. Terry Swope from Link Spring. And who am I missing, if anybody?
Oh, Jason Briggs from J2 and Eugene Mazzo from DG Logic.
How could I forget those two guys? Of course, 2 newcomers to the Executive of the Year, Jason Briggs and Eugene Mazzo, both of them with companies that do graphic tools, very innovative individuals. Jason Briggs, Scott Mensch at J2 for the stuff they're doing with Haystack and J2 Fin Builder. And of course, Eugene Mazzo and his team at DG Logics with all the great graphics, analytics, and their DG box. So they're both of those guys up for multiple categories, but that's going to be a really interesting competition because very diverse individuals, Kenny, in terms of personalities and backgrounds. But the one thing they have in common is all of them are great leaders, very innovative. So going to be very interesting to see who wins that competition. And Kenny, let's get to the sponsors. Who are our sponsors this week?
All right, Nick, we have 4 sponsors for the Control Talk Now, week ending December 7th. We've got Vicon, EasyIO, DG Logic, and Control Co's Data iPro. And between those 4 sponsors, we have 22 awards nominated between those 4 sponsors. So thank you very much to the sponsors. Just a word back on that Executive of the Year. I don't think everybody thinks they have a hard job to do, and everybody, comes home and after a hard day's work. But imagine the executives in this atmosphere that we're in, this kaleidoscope of change and technology merging in and competition. These are the guys that are making those critical decisions day in and day out, and we give them, hats off to all of them. They're the elite, cream of the crop, great executives, great guys, and we're very happy to be working in an environment that recognizes them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kenny, one of the great things is with the Control Trends Awards coming up, those guys are going to be there. So if you're part of the Control Trends community and coming to the Control Trends Awards, you're going to get a chance to rub elbows with these people. And like you say, phenomenal individuals. Most of them have managed through good times and bad times. So great group of people. Okay, Kenny, we as you know, we took a vacation last week for Thanksgiving, and so now we got a lot to catch up on. So let's get right to it. Kenny, what do we have up first?
The first up was an ABB poll, but what is the most effective energy savings action you've taken in the past 12 months? And this is a really cool poll survey where they asked you, to be Ken, did you reduce temperatures, add a VFD, add DCIM, virtualization, or other? Answer it, and then they're going to post that information. So if you wanted to sign up for AB&B's monthly information, and you get access to these kind of polls and information, AB&B does a good job of doing that, and it's I'm kind of curious to see how people respond to it.
Well, absolutely. And, so a couple points here. First of all, if you're in the controls business and have something you want to get posted, if you want a survey posted, we're more than happy to do that. But the second thing is ABB is nominated for the best variable frequency drive of the year. We're going to talk a little bit more about them in the show, Kenny. But we haven't heard from those guys. We would love to get somebody from ABB on the show, specifically to talk about their drives and the Control Trends Award. So if ABB is in your network, if you know or sell ABB variable frequency drives, if you could please reach out to them. We've tried various channels trying to get hold of them. We sure would appreciate that, and we'd like to get ABB on the show.
Next up, we have a seminar on smart grid, and the SIGP supports electric, utilities, regulators, manufacturers, and integrators. And the Smart Grid Information Panel and Integration Panel, they have a seminar coming out on December 12th, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you really got to get involved in this. We've been talking about this all year, about the smart grid and open ADR, and we've got a couple really good posts. But one of the most important things about this is that they're asking people to get involved. First of all, what is the smart grid? The smart grid is a planned nationwide network that uses information technology to deliver electricity efficiently. Right now, we just have a one-way flow of information from generator to outlet. We have, the multiple partners involved, and it's global. You got markets, operations, and service providers, and underneath that, you have bulk generation, transmission, distribution to customer, and we're all customers. But what's happening is, since we last spoke of this, probably about a month ago, there were 12 products that were approved by the smart grid, and now there's 20. So you see this leapfrogging. All these wireless technology companies. Johnson just put a new product out there. The major manufacturers in this business that we're in are moving forward in the smart grid and open ADR. And we, as distributors and as participants, from building automation and integration, need to know what's going on, because we need to align ourselves with this movement.
Well, no, absolutely, Kenny. The smart grid is a very, very interesting concept. You've done a great job of tracking it. I think it's people are sort of slowly and discreetly and not so discreetly behind the scenes sort of moving in position to take advantage of this. So I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we talk about Nest a little bit further in the show, but lots of issues about that, which I think we should discuss later on. But the ADR, Kenny, it's here to stay, right?
Oh, yeah, Eric. I mean, just in the bottom line, we could talk about this the whole show, but there's a delicate balance that's going on out there. And what's happening is we are wasting approximately 25% of the cost of electricity is keeping standby plants alive and on hold. These standby plants, called peaker plants, do approximately 100 hours a year, yet they cost 25% of electricity. So what we're trying to do is make the whole grid smart, two-way, from the appliance all the way to the provider. And it's being done, and it's just a really exciting phenomenon, because we're look at us talk about it every week. We have people are contributing to this, to the website, and to the into ControlTrends.org with comments. And you just mentioned another facet of information that's coming in. It's all coming together quickly, and we're going to see it really culminate in some major events in 2014, which we'll keep talking about.
Way cool, Kenny. What do we have up next?
All right, next up, Eric, we had acquisition news. WattStopper buys AIC Wireless, lighting solutions for the high-performance building. And this is this is really exciting news, because we're talking about Brian Pike now working, in a very large corporate environment, that he can actually put that prowess that he had, this knowledge of wireless, his knowledge of Niagara and Sedona, and put it out there for people to get greater accessibility into the building industry. And WattStopper's back on the ticket, because the Bullet is nominated for Commercial Product of the Year.
Well, the Bullet is such a cool product, Kenny, and I think the combination of AIC and the Bullet and their products, and Brian Pike's knowledge of integrating lighting in with Jace's and front ends, coupled with WattStopper Legrand's just huge product portfolio of quality lighting products, I think is going to be good for the industry. And so very excited about that. Congratulations to Brian and to our friends at WattStopper. And remember, the Bullet is actually up for 2013 Control Trends award.
Right on, Eric. Next up was CGNA, Controls Group North America. Together we accomplished more. Control Trends, we thank CGNA for becoming a sponsor. And what a great organization. We're going to let you tell us a little bit about that, but thanks to Mike Sackett and Jim Heyman for their sponsorship. And basically, Controls Group North America is leading a network of distributor members and manufacturer preferred vendors in the building management space.
Well, as you know, Kenny, I'm a big fan of Controls Group North America. It is, in my opinion, the top distributors in the country, and not that there are not other good distributors out there, Kenny, but these tend to be your systems integrator types distributors, people like Temperature Controls out of Texas, Controls Consultants out of Boston, our buddy Pat Marcella, M&M, Baltimore. The list goes on, and just a great organization. Mike Sackett, Jim Heyman do a great job running that organization. They have great marketing tools. Nadira Johnson, who you probably saw on Control Trends, is really up on the social media marketing. So, Kenny, I got to tell you, man, that's just a good group. We're proud to be members, and again, thank you very much to everybody at CGNA for their sponsorship of the 2013 Control Trends Awards.
All right, Eric, once more, CGNA provides innovation solutions, takes a progressive approach towards evolving your business. They'll help you grow your business through committees, conferences, webinars, and networking opportunities. CGNA impacts their members and preferred vendors' bottom lines by increasing their market share. So please see more on that post, and great job. Thanks again, Mike and Jim.
Thanks.
All right, Eric, next up we had 5 more HVAC giants. As you know, we've got some exciting plans that we can share a little bit about regarding our industry. It's a $115 billion industry, and it wasn't magic. There are some very key, important people that did incredible things that we're finally getting that spotlight and consolidating this information in a very user-friendly environment that we can't wait to introduce. But we had 5 more great people. We have Watts Technology, Watts Water Technology, goes back to 1857. We have Barbara Coleman, the great story told by Barbara Coleman, and it's from the perspective of of Rockville, Illinois, and what an important role Barbara Coleman played in their development. We have Danfoss, goes back to 1905 in Denmark. We have TACO, which was a company founded in 1920 in Elizabeth, New Jersey. What a great story that stands for. Thermal Appliance Company is TACO. It's the acronym for Thermal Appliance Company. And Mr. David Lennox, he was the pioneer member of Home Comfort, and he came up with a riveted steel furnace in 1895. So we just take all this for granted, but what we're going to do with Control Trends is continue to give our community some background, some heritage, and the whole purpose of this too is to give our greater foundation for people, invite them into our industry, take a look at it, become part of it, and attract more technicians and more people. Not everybody in the world could be marketeers and bankers and scientists, and we need people in the technical trades, and it's a great industry, and we feel as though we're doing a service to the industry by providing more of this heritage and background. All right, Eric, tell us about our first guest.
Kenny, I mean, you're the man, the myth, the legend. Roger Ebenek might be the most exciting man in the controls industry, but our next guest, Mike Marston, is a globetrotter. I tell you, he's all over the world. He's up for HVAC Executive of the Year. His company, EasyIO, is up for several awards, including the Controller of the Year with the Beast from the East. And so anyway, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our friend, Mad Mike Marston from EasyIO. Hey, Mike, where are you this week?
Well, Eric, and Control Trends, ControlTalk. This week we're in Japan, and as always, I've been asked to give some content. I want to introduce William here. William is with Sanko Telecom. He's the president. He's almost Japanese. He certainly sounds like, there you go. He certainly sounds like he's Japanese. Now, William's been a really big Tritium fan, big Niagara fan, and obviously a big EasyIO fan as well. And they exclusively look after Japan for us. I think, as you all know, it's a very interesting market, but it's also a difficult market.
William, tell us about the Japanese market and EasyIO and Niagara and Sedona.
To be a country that was used to handle a lot of technologies from the point of the building automation system. But Japan finally is starting to look into outside of the market. So we are starting to learn about open protocols, open standards, and I think there is a great opportunity for Niagara and for ECIO in this country.
So Mike, what's it like for EZIO in Japan?
I've certainly witnessed that. I've been here for 2 days and met some of the blue chip customers. We've signed up some amazing corporate companies here. It's been a long job. Williams company, Sanko Telecom, they already provide some products into the buildings market. They're primarily an IT company, but he hired an amazing team from the industry, invested an awful lot of money and time to really get Western technology into Japan. Not just because it's Western, it's just that the Western countries, certainly the US, has led the way in the open protocols.
William, what do you like about the Beast from the East, and what is it that the customers in Japan like about the product?
Yes, definitely. ECIO, it's a product that fits perfectly. For people who is not familiar with this market, the opportunity ECIO has, it's a very high quality product. First, that's something that the Japanese companies respect a lot. So quality is up the top here. So this is something that it's been already tested by the most biggest Japanese system integrators, building automation system integrators, and quality is one of the most important strengths of the ECIO.
All right, Mike, so what is it you're hearing from customers in Japan about EZIO? What's it like to do business there?
Yeah, that's great. And with the BACnet now, BACnet server, BACnet client coming, I won't mention the companies that we're dealing with because it's not been announced yet. It will be announced in the next couple of months. But these blue chip companies, we've been talking to these 2 days, have all said the same thing. They love what we're doing with open protocols. They love what Sanko's doing in the way they support and the dedication to detail and quality. So I think we're going to see some great things. This is a long-term relationship. And I think the viewers there, from Control Trends and ControlTalk are seeing that this is a global business. And thanks to Control Trends for, allowing it to be global. I think William and his team may be at the Control Trends Awards in New York in January if it's not too cold.
We would love to have you at the Control Trends Awards. If you make it to New York, come please be our guest. We would love to have you there. It's just great, like Mike said, to have a worldwide Control Trends community. And
no, we're going to certainly try and get there. And do you think ECI will win? Are we going to win any of the categories?
We wish. We really wish ECIO will win.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Well, William, thanks a million. I think it's time to go. It's a Friday night now, so I think we need to go out with some customers and and celebrate. In case you don't know, William's sideline, he also has a very nice tequila bar downtown. So you never know, we may end up having a few shots.
So now people know where's our strategies for the Japanese market.
There you go. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
tequila, William, we like that. Maybe Kenny and I will have to come visit you in Japan. We're kind of fond of tequila. You guys be careful out there. Mike, have a good time. William, thanks so much for being on the show. There you have it, Mike Marston and William live from Japan. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, Eric, next up we have The Value of the Collaborative Community by Mark Peacock. As everyone knows, Mark's the Vice President of Marketing at Linkspring. This was an article he published in Ken St. Clair's Automated Building December edition, and we welcome all Control Trends viewers in the community to go visit automatedbuildings.com because this is a great December edition regarding the spirit of working together, sharing a vision, and getting those desired outcomes for the future. So great article. Thanks, Mark. And please visit automatedbuilding.com when you have a chance.
Well, yeah, and I think Mark Peacock, I mean, he embodies this this whole collaborative sort of thing, Kenny, and I think it makes so much sense. We talked earlier about executives and the tough decisions they're having to make, and if you think about it, Kenny, it's not getting any less competitive. It is getting more competitive, and I think we have to cooperate. In other words, I think the old strategy of trying to take other people's piece of the pie is a limited strategy. I mean, I think that's still going to play in people's business plans. But Kenny, if you really think about it, the name of the game is just making the pie bigger. And especially in our industry with some of the innovative products that we have and the technologies and the size of our industry, which we have talked about, I think collaborating, working together, make the pie bigger bodes well for all of us. I had a teacher that, we did a series on Marshall Thurber, who was a world-renowned business leader and teacher. Back when I met him in the 80s, he was talking about quality coming to the United States, and he'd actually been studying with Edwards Deming. Edwards Deming and Buckminster Fuller were his two teachers. And Deming actually took Marshall in with him to Ford when Donald Peterson from Ford first introduced the quality concept to the United States, and they started adopting those principles that Deming had been preaching about. But I met Marshall probably 7 or 8 years before that even happened, and Marshall was preaching about quality was the next big revolution. Many years passed, and about 20 years later, Kenny, I tracked Marshall down again. This goes back about 10 years, and he had spent a bunch of time studying networks, everything from Terra networks to computer networks to cell networks in a body, and he developed some operating principles out of that. And the rules are completely different in the networked economy, and they're so counterintuitive to what what the rules were before. And one of them is diversity gives you the best chance of coming up with the right answer. Another is you have to collaborate. One of the models is or the principles in the networked economy is givers get. The more you give away, the more you get back. And so I gotta give it to Mark Peacock. I mean, if you talk about a guy that I think just intuitively gets this concept, it's got to be Mark. I mean, he gives. I mean, he reached out to us, Kenny, helped us with the Control Trends Awards. Consequently, he's the master of ceremonies at the CTAs. And we think enough of Mark and his spirit of giving that we actually created an award for Mark to give out called the Peacock Award, which among other things, acknowledges people that understand collaborating. So great article by Mark. Mark's going to be a guest blogger on Control Trends, so you can see more of Mark on Control Trends. Be sure to check him out on LinkSpring. He does a lot on LinkSpring as well. But if there's a guy that gets collaboration, and I think the networked economy in our industry is Mark Peacock.
Placed by another model, and the more you collaborate, the greater accessibility you get into other markets. So very well said. All right, Eric. Next up, we have Nest encounters of the second kind. Nest Protect. Nest is doing something different, something better. And I'll tell you what, this was fun to do because first of all, I wonder if it's the green golden sun out there, gold from the sunlight and green for the, saving the economy and the environment and saving energy. So it's a golden green sunlight coming out of Palo Alto, California. And I'll tell you, the outside the box thinking now struck synergy oil again, because and understandably what they're going after now. I think the portrait of the Nest portfolio is coming together. This smoke detector / carbon monoxide monitor. We'll go into the features real quick here, but now it's coming quite clear that they're going after the residential appliances and the smart grid, and they're going to connect those dots and continue. It started out with a thermostat, but now you're going to see the smoke detector, carbon monoxide. Now this thing can notify you. It can give you a checklist on what to do. It can the CO monitor can shut down the gas valve, shut it off so you don't produce any more carbon monoxide and don't feed a fire. I mean, this is brilliant stuff, and it's fun to watch it develop, because they're going to go after the rest of the appliances probably inside the residence, which are going to be the dryer, the air conditioning, which already have dishwasher, water heater. But the smart grid, open ADR, the products, those are dots, and we're seeing this Nest group put those dots together in a very comprehensive, a very marketable, sellable environment, and give them hats off. Hats off to Tony.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Tony, how's it going? Miss you. You still haven't contacted me yet, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, Kenny, these guys are just lighting our industry up if you think about it. I mean, their whole marketing campaign with Nest, what they came out with last year, their approach to it, and now the Nest Protect. These guys are all over it. I was really surprised that they didn't get nominated for the best marketing category at the 2013 Control Trends Awards. But Tony, I mean, if you reach out to us a little bit, maybe our community would embrace you a little bit more. You always have an invitation to come on the show. Matter of fact, I'm saving you a place at the Control Trends Awards. You get to sit right next to me and Ken, and you get to meet Mark Peacock. So all good stuff there. But Kenny, it is impressive what these guys are doing. And I guess here's a question for you. When you sort of think about this, everything from ADR and the smart grid, I mean, do you think that, Nest, as well as other people, are sort of gearing up where they're just going to be able to know exactly what's going on with your home? I mean, where do you see this going with products like Nest is coming out with, Honeywell, Ecobee, some of the others? Where do you see it going?
Well, you got multiple issues, incorporated into one. It's a term called public privacy, which is a oxymoron or contradiction in terms, because public and privacy, it doesn't make sense. Either so the more public you go, the more privacy you give up. The more public information is going into these giant data formulations and data modeling, and especially something as big and important as the smart grid. You have to have raw information. It has to be immediate and it has to be accurate. So on one hand, I'm 100% for it. I mean, I think it's the only way to live. We got to get better and smarter. And products can do that. They can be multi-servicing. So here you got a smoke detector carbon monoxide thing that gives you, light as you walk underneath it. It gives you information. It shares information. It's an additional sensor, occupancy sensor, so it does know exactly where you've been and where you are. So it could be misused. If you've got governmental agencies that want to know that information, if security companies and these incredibly intelligent hackers that can go in and find out. Sure, it gives you another access point to invade somebody's privacy. So it's a balance. It's a weight. And we need the government and we need the private sector to both be watchdogs on it, so it doesn't get abused. But I think it has to go forward because of the benefits. And I applaud Honeywell, Nest, and all the other ones to do it, because think of what we're trying to accomplish. We just said we want two-way communication between every appliance, basically, that uses electricity, all the way to the generators. Now, if you reverse engineer that, you have to go through the residence to do that. You have to get, into the actual building space where people live. You have to go into the commercial space where people do business. Now, can these things work against you? You watch these great shows where they show a telephone being turned on by an external source, and, of course it can be done. Now, will it be done, and why would it be done? I mean, if you aren't legitimate, if you got problems and you're hiding things, then you should be worried, because this will help.
Well, no. I think it's a really compelling conversation, because I would not disagree that this needs to be done. But we had a guy on a while back, Minivan Jack. You remember him, Kenny?
Sure do.
Great character. You got to check that post out. This guy.
That's the balance we're talking about. We need that interjection.
Well, we really do. And Minivan was going on and on about the smart meters. I mean, just the electric meters, be able to read those. And his conjecture, among other things, was, now the government's going to know when you're home. Just from the smart meter thing, he was upset about it, because they could tell when you're home, how much energy you're using, and so on and so forth. Imagine what it's going to be like, if, and it probably is already here, but, through the thermostat, they know you're home, how much energy you're using. They're going to come in and mandate a law that the energy gets too high, they're going to start turning stuff off whether you want them to or not. That's one thing. Is it going to be testimonial evidence? I mean, you get accused of a crime, and the detectives are looking at your thermostat, your smart stat, to see if you were home, your occupancy sensors to see if you were there. The other thing that's kind of compelling we haven't even talked about yet was, we've seen the advent of people hacking into buildings, right, through the building automation systems, and turning stuff on and off and wreaking havoc. Or we open yourself up so you have a smart thermostat in, and somebody comes in and starts turning your heating and air conditioning on and off. So maybe there's a whole new industry that gets spawned out of that, security protection for your house too. So very, very compelling, Kenny, when you start to really think about the ramifications of all this. So, but it is so cool, because, you look at, the companies that we're working with the exception of Nest, but Tony, that's your fault, not ours, because we'd love to work with you. But the Honeywells and the Ecobees and the N-Touches of the world that are right at the forefront of this. And then you got guys like Mark Jewell, who, by the way, Mark had a child here a couple weeks ago, so congratulations to Mark and his wife. Mark's going to be getting back on the show, but you got a guy like Mark Jewell and the guys at Honeywell, their EEO program, Jack Connell and those people teaching us how to sell those benefits, right? So it's like we're on a collision course for this to happen, and I think it does benefit the planet. I think it benefits us in terms of a business. And like I said, I think potentially the only downside might be some invasion of privacy or some abuses there. But I tell you, Minivan Jack, if you're listening, Kenny, I'd love to have you on the show because I agree with Kenny. I think we need that side of the conversation, somebody to pick that up. And I got to tell you, with the opportunities out there, it's kind of hard for me to get too concerned about that side of it. Worldwide theme this week, Kenny. A gentleman by the name of Mike Welch with Control Network Solutions out of the UK reached out to us. He's apparently a big fan of ControlTalk and Control Trends. He is prolific in his own right, Kenny. He is all over LinkedIn. I've been following him for a while on LinkedIn. So we're very, very pleased to have Mike Welch, co-founder of Control Network Solutions out of the UK, on the show. And Mike is also going to come on and sort of be a correspondent from Europe, if you will. So with that, hey, Mike, welcome to the show and tell us a little bit about what you're up to.
I'd like to thank Eric and Kenneth for inviting us to participate in the ControlTalk education program. And we look forward to bringing the information about the Niagara world as we see it from Europe and from other parts of the world to the Niagara community that are now embracing ControlTalk as a means of education, learning, and information gathering. Control Network Solutions, if not the first, was amongst the very first organizations globally to be officially certified by Tritium as an AX developer partner. Control Network Solutions, or CNS, has always been involved in delivering intelligent control network solutions based upon open standards. We have delivered solutions that have both been client-specific and standard off-the-shelf.
Off-the-shelf solutions. Tell us about a couple of those.
Currently, CNS is offering 2 off-the-shelf products to the Niagara community. First is Elite Dali, and the second is CNS in Ocean. And we'll be discussing more about these 2 products and their impact on the community, the Niagara community, and the end clients in the series of ControlTalk videos and discussions that will take place over the next weeks and months.
AX is a big thing in the States, so I'm sure our listeners are going to be fascinated to sort of hear what you have to say going forward about Dali and AX. Listen, we look forward to having you on the show. We're really excited. That's Mike Welch, Control Network Solutions out of the UK. That website is control-network-solutions.co.uk. Be sure to check Mike out. Mike will be a contributor on Control Trends. Will keep us up to date on what's happening in Europe as well as lighting controls. Again, Mike, many, many thanks.
All right, next up is a nominee for Control Trends Awards 2000 Building Automation System of the Year, the Link Spring Genesis. And the Jenny's an amazing product platform. The Link Spring Genesis is an open operational informational platform that combines building automation, connectivity, integration, and interoperability, supervision and control, energy management, and actionable information, data and analytics into a single system within a cyber-secured environment. So I'm going to rush to say all that, but great product. It's scalable. It's deployable. It allows organizations to continually build off the same network deployment and add additional applications as desired.
Well, absolutely, and that was our friend Mark Peacock did that post, and just as a shout out to our community, I mean, that's available to everybody. In other words, we really want our community to know about the products that have been nominated and the people that have been nominated. So please, just reach out to Kenny and I. We'll post whatever media you have that can educate our worldwide voting community on your product or the people that have been nominated. So we got several people. Kenny, I'll just go off on this a little bit. We got several people that we've tried to track down and we haven't heard from that we'd like to. We mentioned ABB for Variable Frequency Drive of the Year. Allerton is up for the Building Automation Controller of the Year. We have not heard from anybody at Allerton, and we'd love to know more about their product that's nominated. Same goes for Distech. Their VAV controller was nominated. Who else have we got, Kenny? There are a couple of the VFD people, I think, was Square D nominated for Variable Frequency Drive of the Year as well.
Oh, yes, Eric. Let me just get that real quick. We've got, of course, Johnson Controls, Tico Westinghouse, AB&B, Yaskawa, Honeywell, Danfoss, and Square D. We've got feedback from Honeywell. We've got feedback from JC, Johnson Controls. We've got a little bit of feedback from Yaskawa. And AB&B is still out there. We know they got a great site and they got great people. We just haven't connected to them. And then Danfoss. We haven't got anything back from Danfoss. Now Square D, and I don't think people realize the connection there between TAC Schneider Electric and Square D. Square D is being sold all over the place. It's a big drive manufacturer, and we sold some of them. And again, we've got a great award category there that we can go into greater definitions here. But yeah, we're just trying to get people to make sure that they have that opportunity to leverage their market. If you have marketing collateral already established and now you just want to share it with a great community, you're just fueling your own fires.
Yeah, repurpose it. Give it to us. We want to post it. We really want we want to get our voters to be as informed as possible. They're from all over the world. They're from all kinds of different companies. They're everything from building owners to building maintenance supervisors to consulting engineers to contractors. So it's a very diverse community that you have the opportunity to connect with in a very unique way. So again, please reach out to us. You can get Ken. You can get us both through comments at Control Trends. You can just put a comment at the bottom of the post. Ken can be reached on Twitter at Ken Smyers. I'm on Twitter at Eric Stromquist. And Kenny, why don't we put an email address at the bottom of the post this time, so if somebody does want to reach out to us and doesn't want to put their contact information publicly, they can do that.
Next up, we have J2 Fin Builder, the cool feature of the month, in Haystack Tagging Basics. This is, again, a great post. J2 Innovation reviews the Haystack Tagging Basics. Haystack is a software module that enables external applications to get data out of Niagara stations quickly and efficiently. We have a little bit more. Why don't you talk about it, and then I'll give you I'll come back with some of the exact granular information from Mr. Brian Frank.
Both got turned on to Haystack at the Haystack convention in Chattanooga this year. We covered it. We've got just this incredible video of Scott Mensch and Jason Briggs from J2 bringing different pieces of equipment online, different buildings online, live on stage, all using the tagging protocol from Haystack. So I think it's here to stay. I think it's a really innovative product, Kenny. And it's a great post. So this is a great little tutorial. Please, J2 has a very informative website. I checked this post out, Kenny. It's great to sort of give you the basics of how to do the tagging. They have great videos up there, so be sure to check those out. And Jason Briggs, you're one of the people we want to get on the show. We want our community to know about you. So Scott Mensch, Jason Briggs, please reach out to us because we want Jason, our community, to get to know a little bit more about Jason Briggs.
Righto, Eric. Just as in summary about the Haystack, is it's an open, open source. They're inviting everybody. They're inviting manufacturers, vendors, anybody in the business to contribute and help make it go further, faster. Basically, our industry suffers from, a lack of a common vocabulary that's used in all the products, all the components. And so the next step is to build more sophisticated models of our buildings and their environments by modeling, the complete air distribution. So the software know which AHUs feed VAVs and the relationships between meters and submeters and electrical equipment and electric system. But we have to build more sophisticated modules and models. So anybody with a vested interest in the building system and energy data should be participating in Haystack. And any domain expert who creates or installs or operates building systems like AHUs or boilers is invited to join in Haystack. So, I mean, it's an extraordinary project. It's happening right before us again. We talked about this technology evolving, and it happens so quickly and fast that you don't even realize it's going right past you. And if you get on it, you might find a business opportunity there that you didn't see before.
Right, Kenny, and I think we're getting right back to that whole collaborative effort thing again, right? I mean, it's multiple people coming together, finding a better solution. That it's kind of interesting to see these competitors, at this meeting, sort of coming together and collaborating on something that's going to make the industry better and them better ultimately.
Well said. And just get onto the website. They've got several ways to get on there, but basically you go to projecthaystack.org. You can Google it, when you get on there, you can go into that level that you feel comfortable. Get your own comfort zone, but learn about it because it's coming. Again, we're transitioning from manual processes to automated processes, and Haystack will accommodate that and will accelerate that. So
Kenny, you did a really, really cool post on ADR and some of the tools that are available. Tell us about that, if you would.
All right. Well, the next was demand response analysis tools available. OpenADR Alliance partners with Joule Assets, and there's a two-part answer to or response to the tools. Joule Assets has some fabulous tools that, again, as we open up this the folder on ADR and we see what's happening, is we've got top-notch companies producing what we hear of here is a ERA DR Lite, which allows you to easily identify how many demand response programs your installations qualifies for and the revenue the site might earn by participating in these programs. Simply enter a site zip code and curtailment capability, and this ERA DR from Joule Assets will find a program database to match your needs, enabling you to demonstrate the value your technology provides. And that is really cool. But the second part of the tools, if you go to the OpenADR Alliance site, which is openadr.member, I'm on the membership thing, so I have a signed in password, on sign on. But there's 21 products now. And of course, we talked about the Honeywell AccuComm. Now we have companies AutoGrid, we have Daintree Networks, we have Energy Hub, Enernoc had more product detail information now. They have several products. Johnson Controls now has a product. So it shows you the growth. Last time we talked about this, we only had 12 products, tools for the Open Grid or the Smart Grid and OpenADR. Fujitsu, again, Honeywell has another one, the Demand Response Automation Server, or DRAS, and that's also from AccuComm. And that's really marvelous. You have to look at it. Go onto the site and check it out. You have Institute for Information and Industry Savings. You have EISS. Again, there's 21 total, but those are the ones most familiar to our Control Trends community. The Johnson Controls is a smart data exchange as well. It's an auto DR system. There's a www.johnsoncontrols.com demand response. So, I mean, they're going after this too. So you can see just by the growth of the players how the Smart Grid and OpenADR are becoming part of our industry. And the sooner you embrace it and learn about it, the better off you're going to be.
Our next guest, I am so pleased to have him on, is one of the great minds from the distribution side. So, Kenny, absolutely thrilled about this guy. I think he's one of the brightest minds in our industry. Tell us a little bit about our next guest.
I sure love to, Eric. Welcome. Control Talk Now for the week ending December 8th welcomes Mr. Brian Turner to the show. Brian is the president of Control Co., an Oakland-based control solutions provider for commercial and industrial buildings. Brian is one of the pioneers and great minds in the industry. Brian, we welcome you to the program.
Yeah, welcome, Brian.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be here.
And as you know, I've known you for years. You're one of the most fascinating people I know in our industry. You are always welcome to come on Control Talk Now. We'll talk to you anytime about any subject in our industry. But specifically today, I was hoping we could talk a bit about the Data Eye. As you know, and congratulations, Data Eye is up for our 2013 Control Trends Award. So congratulations on that. And start at the beginning, Brian. Tell us about Data Eye. And specifically, if you could tell us a little bit about how it would benefit commercial and industrial managers.
Thanks, Eric. It's an honor to be nominated for this award. So what is Data Eye Pro? Well, first we have to really understand what Data Eye is. And just a little reminder of what Data Eye was designed to do. One, we built it inside Niagara in order to make it easier for building engineers and software programmers who know Niagara to be able to easily and quickly model data that they've integrated into Niagara. Really the goal was to design something that would allow people to quickly understand all this information that's being collected by Niagara. Now, the challenges we've had with that over the last several years is really within the visualization of all of that data. So the data models allow building engineers and programmers to create a lot of interesting information about the building with all that data that's coming in. However, the UI technologies out there have not really been designed to make that data meaningful, at least from a user experience. So we really had to change our thinking in that we were only a back-end provider to really we needed to design tools to make the user experience more meaningful so that that information was available. So we built, over the last 2 years, we've really spent a lot of time with our developers and actually have a brand new team that's focused on building a set of tools designed to work together or independently to really illustrate this data. We've really spent a lot of time thinking about what the industry is doing with user experience, and most of the user experience is either in an app or in a browser or being used by mobile devices or tablets, and as well as laptops and desktops. So you still need the user experience to be very responsive and be able to be meaningful in all of those different media devices. So we've used HTML5 as our core backbone technology for developing all these tools.
And man, this sounds so advanced, 21st century. For the uninitiated, Brian, why don't we review what a data model is?
Yeah, so we're trying to keep up with the big data trends, or even trying to get ahead of big data. I mean, obviously, when you're talking about building data and the energy and the HVAC and maybe even lighting, it's really a small piece of big data when there's so much information being collected about people and buildings and anything else out there in the big data databases. So we're talking a small portion, but for our industry, it is very much big data. So data modeling, otherwise known as semantic tagging, and without getting too technical, it's really just a way to identify data and create relationships between these different data pieces. And it's a way to identify data that's meaningful to humans, as well as machines. So in the first point, when we talk about making it meaningful to humans, it's instead of taking something commonly referred to as RAT for an engineer, actually calling that return air temperature, or even ZT and calling that zone temperature. And then in order to make that even more meaningful to a building manager, actually applying that to the building A conference room on the first floor. So all of those pieces are pieces of semantic tagging or pieces of the data model to really help building managers and building owners and whomever else might be dealing with that information to understand what they're dealing with. So they don't have to go into a database and find Lawnworks or BACnet or air handler number 1 and try to figure out what the temperature or what the set point is that they're supposed to change. So it's really just trying to simplify it for that. On top of that, the other piece is allowing machines to talk to machines. If you don't have normalized data, which is what Niagara does, then you can't get the machines to talk to machines. But if you don't have a data model to where an air handler in Lawnworks knows that another air handler in BACnet are both the same type of piece of equipment, just communicating 2 different protocols, then you don't have a chance to really allow them to work together in a seamless way. Once everything's modeled, and this is really the power of Data Eye, it's once everything's modeled and put into a portfolio or even just a building, you can have analytics or diagnostics or fault detection routines or even real-time control strategies running against that data model. So it really allows you to scale Niagara in some sense. So we've kind of coined that specific thing, responsive analytics.
So, hey, before we go any further, I just want to let the Control Trends community know that Brian and Control Co. are platinum sponsors for the 2013 Control Trends Awards. They're our first distributor sponsor ever to come on. So Brian, want to let you know on behalf of me and Ken and the entire Control Trends community how much we appreciate your support.
Thanks, Eric. We're actually very happy to be involved in the Control Trends Awards this year. We think it's a very important thing for all of us to get together and celebrate our successes in this industry. We look forward to seeing you in January in New York.
Well, cool, Brian. We're looking forward to it too. So let's get back to Data Hive for a minute, Brian. What would be an example of a way a customer could use Data Hive Pro?
Great question. So one simple way to explain this is just measurement and verification. Everybody wants to know that the money they're spending on energy saving strategies, whether it's replacing lights or upgrading their air conditioning equipment or just simply changing set points or fixing their schedule or taking some maybe more aggressive actions with their scheduling routines, actually has an impact. So if you have your meters and your power data integrated in some way, then you can know the data leading up to the date that you made your change. And then from that date forward, you can actually see if there was an impact. And because Data Eye works in Niagara and it's very near real time, you can see this change immediately. You don't have to wait for months to get your bills from the utilities and actually get that data into a spreadsheet or something. So that's one simple way. Another way that's very common that you're hearing a lot about right now is fault detection. Actually having the data mine other data to determine if your equipment is working well or if it's working efficiently or simply just if something's broken. So that's another way that we commonly see people using Data Eye. And then the final way that, and we'll actually show this a little bit later, is actually using it for forecasting or predicting where your energy is going. So we can use a lot of different things, but we use the weather to determine not only what your energy is today and record what it has been in the past, but we can also predict. So we get a 10-day forecast from the Weather Channel or from NOAA or Weather Underground or any other weather station that you might be tied into. And then we can actually look at historical performance of your building and predict what your energy load or your energy profile is going to be over those 10 days. That allows you to start making some decisions whether or not you want to change set points, maybe you want to take a little more aggressive action to not hit those peaks if it looks like you're going to set new peaks for the period.
Wow, that is absolutely gorgeous, Brian. Really, really a cool feature. So, hey, real quick, let me remind the Control Trends community, this product is up for a 2013 Control Trends Award. If you have not registered to vote yet, just take 2 seconds, click on the right side of the Control Trends page. You'll see a place that says register to vote. You've got to register to vote to be able to vote for any products in the Control Trends Awards. The voting period is going to actually start December 15th. That's when we'll start mailing the ballots out. So take a quick second and register to vote right now. So Brian, where can the Control Trends community find out more about this product?
Great. Well, the best way to contact us is either at controlco.com or you can follow us on Twitter or get us on LinkedIn.
I'll tell you, Brian is truly one of the great minds and innovative thinkers now. And I think this has been aptly demonstrated. Also, Brian's agreeing to contribute to ControlTrends.org on a regular basis with a new column called Fault Lines. And we'll be looking out for that, and hopefully we see it very soon. Thank you very much, Brian.
Yeah, Brian, thanks so much. I tell you what, that is going to be such a treat for us and for the Control Trends community. Brian Turner, one of the great minds in our industry. Brian, thanks so much. Fault Lines, Brian will be a contributor on ControlTrends.org. And Brian, hope we can get you back on the show again. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Eric and Ken. It's been great. Available anytime you want to talk about innovative technologies in building automation.
What do we have up next, my friend?
All right, next up, Eric, we have functional devices. They're switching to smart transceivers in their lawn products, the lawnmark products. They're going from an FT3120 to the FT5000 starting, well, it's already started. December 1st, they begin the initiation. So the value customers, functional devices, wants to put you on alert that they'll be switching and that the devices contain an override switch that will now give the customer the ability to switch the output from normally open to normally closed. So that's pretty cool with an onboard jumper. So
and the big thing is you don't have to pay a commission to do that. You don't have to pay a recommissioning fee, right?
Right. The main advantage to customers will be the elimination of commissioning fees. So that's really cool. Previously, the FT3120 customers were required to pay a fee to commission each device on the network. So Echelon has eliminated the commissioning fee requirement for the following devices using the FT5000 smart transceiver, and there's 2, 4, 6, there's 8 of them, and we welcome you to go to the Control Trends post and catch up to that functional device. All right, Eric, next up we have a couple of VFD nominations for the 2013 Control Trends Variable Frequency Drive of the Year. First up is Yaskawa. They're nominated for the second year in a row for VFD of the Year. Yaskawa provided us a very nice, informative video on their Z1000 series, and this is very important because this is how you attract, this is how you put your marketing collateral to good use, because it's being viewed by hundreds of Control Trends organizations, and we believe that this has a big impact. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Yaskawa?
Well, Kenny, I wish I could, but we don't handle Yaskawa, but I think it bodes well to the fact that even though neither you or I handle Yaskawa, the fact that the Control Trends community nominated Yaskawa, they get complete billing and complete support on the website. I will tell you the fact that they got nominated tells me that they're a good drive, and I can also tell you that Scott Cochran from Cochran Supply, another one of the really, really great minds in our industry, Kenny. Scott sells a lot of them. He speaks very, very highly of them, and if Scott Cochran says they're good, then they're good, because Scott doesn't mess around with any junk at all.
Understood. All right, well, you know what, and we're coupling that right into the Honeywell. Can Honeywell VFD repeat its Control Trends Best Variable Frequency Drive of the Year? We're going to go back to that in a second, but we're just going to review. Again, we have Johnson Controls. Johnson Controls has the Micro Variable Speed Drive, the Open Variable Speed Drive, the IntelliPass Variable Speed Drive, and the Enclosed Variable Speed Drive. And I'll tell you what, they've got a great lineup, and they believe that they've put things into their drives that if you use them to their greatest effect and impact, they'll save you an additional 7 to 12%, I believe, in most cases, more than the other drives. So great argument to take a look at theirs. We've got Tico Westinghouse. Tico Westinghouse, their main drive line is the MA7200 series. It's been the fullback in their line. Just they do very well with it. It has a great feature benefit package. It has pump talk software, sensor vector, graphical LCD. A lot of people think that that's one of the friendliest user interface, for programming your drive. We also learned from the Tico Westinghouse folks, they're coming out with a new line in 2014, and they're putting so a transition there to a new line. Of course, we have Danfoss, which we know very little bit about. Square D, of course, comes under the TAC Schneider Electric umbrella. So everybody recognizes Square D out there in the electrical markets and world, because Square D is a leader in there. And then one of my favorite marketing pieces that you did was the Honeywell Smart VFD, the 36-second startup. I think Honeywell, they won the VFD they won the VFD last year, and that piece I think had a lot to do with it, because it really articulated and identified, focused on 36 seconds you can start up a VFD, pump or fan application, and why don't you tell us a little bit about that and the impact of a good marketing collateral?
Well, I tell you, it was, part of being a platinum sponsor is that, we'll help you guys, especially last year, we were willing to help people put marketing collateral together. We had a lot of success with the Honeywell Drive, Ken, and part of it was the ease of startup. So actually in this video piece we put together, it is actually showing Brian Kagi, their product manager at the time, starting to drive up in 36 seconds. And overlaid with that, we had 2 customer testimonials. One from a customer who has installed thousands and thousands of VFDs. Very, very proficient with that. He tried the Honeywell, and he talked about the ease of installing the Honeywell Drive and how that made a lot of sense to him, and the fact that you didn't have to close your system down to make adjustments to a variable frequency drive. He thought that was a huge feature. And then the other testimonial we had was from a gentleman who had never installed a VFD, and our Tim Chambly had encouraged him. He said, "I'll be around, you can do this." He walked him through on the counter, showing him how to set it up. The gentleman went out, installed his first VFD, started it up, worked like a champ. So he's talking about that as well. So Honeywell, it's going to be interesting to see if they can repeat. They certainly have a fantastic drive. You mentioned Johnson earlier, Kenny. Johnson really has put a lot into their drive line. As a matter of fact, we posted a video this week, their sort of promotional video that they submitted but also you did a fantastic interview with the product manager of the variable frequency drive line at the Johnson ABCS conference. We have a link to that post as well, so you can go in and just really get the nitty gritty on the Johnson product line. And of course, Yaskawa did take advantage of our offer to all the nominees to send marketing collateral in. And I thought that was just a beautiful video that they put together explaining their product line. So again, Kenny, I'd like to reach out to ABB, Danfoss, and Square D and say, hey, look, please take advantage of this. We want our Control Trends community to know about your product. And it might be an opportunity for you guys to pick some more business up. Reach out to me and Ken. Reach out to either myself or Ken. You can leave us contact information and comments at the bottom of this post. Ken will put our email addresses so you can reach out and get in touch with us. But it's a great marketing opportunity, number one. But number two, the Control Trends community is worldwide. We had 34 countries registered to vote so far in the awards, Ken. So it's a great way to get your product out all across the world. So ABB, we're calling you out. Yes, Square D, we're calling you out. Danfoss, we're calling you out. And Tony Fidel, I keep calling you out. All right, who we got next? So what else do you have to say about that, Kenny?
Well, I just wanted to say two things. Is the VFD market it's just we haven't begun to accomplish any real market penetration. Every thing we sell and do, especially with energy now, is motor VFDs are a no-brainer. I'm looking at the some of the information that we have for. It comes under a site called Desire, DSIRE, and what happens is it gives you state by state, information about what's available for, grants, rebates, or whatever. And VFDs are in every one of the portfolio for alternative energy portfolio standard in Pennsylvania. It goes from building insulation, it does everything with the dehumidifiers, dishwashers, whatever. But the big one that gets instant, savings, 15% on motors and VFDs. So, we need to sell more VFDs to do better, to be all part of that smart grid and open ADR. Here we go, selling energy meters and selling VFDs as part of our, that should be, the alphabet on selling in our building management markets.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, with the ease which it is to set these up now is fantastic. And, I will say that, one just sort of comment from my perspective, and please, if I'm out of line with this, I want the Control Trends community to call me out. It seems like that where ABB has really been strong is with their 3-contractor bypass, which makes them very, very competitive. And one of the things I noticed for Johnson, Ken and I both handled Johnson, Honeywell, and TECO as a disclaimer. So understand that. That's sort of the disclaimer. But it seemed like one of the things that Johnson really went after, I thought, Ken, was the bypass. If you actually need a bypass, which is debatable, you talk to a lot of people now and they say with the cost of most bypasses versus what it would take to change out or keep a spare VFD, you're much better off in most cases keeping a spare VFD. And the fact that they're so easy to set up, 36 seconds in the case of Honeywell in most instances, the whole concept of a bypass is up for debate amongst a lot of people. But that seemingly has been ABB's sort of claim to fame, among other things. So again, if I'm off on this, please call me out. And Johnson, it seems like really went after that with their bypass option. I was very impressed with their approach to the bypass. So if you do want to bypass, it seems like Johnson gives you the best of both worlds kind of in terms of a competitive drive that you can add a bypass into and then also integrate directly into their automation system. Not that you can't do that with the Honeywell too. I mean, that's one of the big things with Honeywell is you can pick right up on your Ethernet network without any problem at all. So those are some things that Ken and I can say about those two drives because we both sell them. But hey, we want to hear what you have to say. Scott Cochran, tell us what makes Yaskawa better. Tell us what makes ABB better. I mean, this is part of educating the Control Trends community and part of what makes the awards so exciting and part of what Ken and mine's mission is. We really want to get a dialogue and a debate going on. And I think the variable frequency drive, Kenny, as you so aptly put, is something that we ought to be selling and people ought to be buying left and right just because it's a no-brainer and it saves so much money.
All right, Eric, we're going to come back around on this because we have 2 more posts left. We'll go right to the next post. Excuse me. Introducing the Moment, MOMIT, smart thermostat, Europe's version of the Nest. In testimony to your 34 countries, we were contacted by Chantel Marion Brochureau, product manager in business development at Green Moment. And they believe that what we're doing is very important, and they want to get some exposure to theirs. They saw the posts that we had made on Nest and Honeywell and all the other thermostats, Ecobee, InTouch, and Viconics, and he said, "Me too." And we said, "Well, are you in the American market?" And then they said, "Not yet."
Well, we want to be, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? They're doing their thing in Europe. They're sweeping across Europe. They compete with Climote, the thermostat manufacturer from Ireland, and so it's very interesting to hear it. But oh my God, is that a pretty looking thermostat? And
it's like a square nest, right? I mean,
exactly. And please visit the site, watch the video, and the European styling is it's different. So some people are going to find it enormously attractive. Some people are going to say no big deal. But I think what's happening is that they made a thermostat that's, again, they believe it's more sophisticated because of the touch, the Wi-Fi and the information, and the European standards. They've got this thing tweaked so it's right on board, some of the toughest standards in the world, and it works. And they just think they have now a very, very serious contender for smart thermostat of the year. And who knows, we might see them in 2014.
And what was the lady's name again, Kenny? First name?
Oh, it's
just her first name.
Chantel.
Okay, so Chantel, if you're listening, hey, we'll invite you to the Control Trends Awards. If you're in New York City, please come sit at our table. We'll introduce you to Tony Fidel if he shows up. No, that's a great post, though, Kenny. Check that video out. What's next, my friend?
Next up, connecting more IoT dots. And IoT is Internet of Things dots. Apple's iBeacon debuts this Christmas season and previews connections yet to come. And this is another one of those ones where you think that you're in a science fiction movie because you talk about your privacy. Well, this iBeacon thing is being used. They're doing a demo. You talk about disruptive technology. Nest Labs founder and VP engineering sent an emphatic "all I want for Christmas" message in October at the Verge conference was, we have built connected smoke alarms and connected connected thermostats. So how do these products communicate interactively with other connected products in the home? And there's those dots being connected we're talking about. There's Zigbee, there's Z-Wave, there's Wi-Fi, and there's Bluetooth. And how does one ever design for these markets if they don't have a standard protocol? So this year, we're seeing that answer might be Bluetooth. And this iBeacon is going to be tested at Macy's during the Christmas season. And some of the things it does, you walk into the store, if you have the app, guess what? The Shopkick application tells you where to go. It navigates you through your buying experience. It tells you where your coupons are valid, and it'll talk to you. It's personalizing your shopping experience, and that's incredible. And then the Major League Baseball teams, I would imagine out in California, I didn't say where specifically, but as I did more research on it and read more about it, Major League Baseball might do it too. So you can come into the Major League ballpark, have your iPhone or your smartphone, I'm sorry, not just iPhone, but smartphone, and get this personalized application where you can keep track of all your stats and all your information. So it's really putting that technology to a greater use, drilling down deeper into that personal space and making your smartphone your best friend, your confidant, your informer. It's, just where's it going to stop, Eric?
Amazon, when you go to Amazon, because you ordered this, maybe you like this and that information. It sounds like with this, you're going to walk into a shopping mall or walk into a ballpark and it's going to be, hey, Ken, welcome back, right? Or, hey, Ken, looks like you lost some weight. The pants are on sale or whatever. So really cool. So now, Kenny, you got that from, was it Teresa Sullivan? Was she the one that turned you on that article?
Well, thank you, because I can't take credit for this. We have to go back to where we got this, and the source was Building Contexts. Teresa Sullivan. Teresa is reachable at teresa@runwaypartners.com. Please visit our post because there's so much more to this. There's so many hot buttons going to more incredible information about this technology and the disruptive technology. And the Verge conference is an amazing thing. A guy from Nest and another person from one of the companies out in California that's on top of it, NRG. They talk about the future, and this future is our business. This is how we're making a living, and this is the high level, 30,000 feet decisions and efforts being made that ultimately come down and knock on all of.
I got to tell you, this Teresa Sullivan is one impressive person, and you know what? What was the name of her blog again? Her website?
Building Context. Building Context. This woman is an expert on so many things, but social media, social content. I mean, she is more connections on her site than I've been. It's almost like automated buildings,
Right.
With Ken St. Clair and our industry. Well, this woman has it for social media and how to market things in the Internet of Things. I mean, there's just so much to know and learn.
Yeah, Kenny, I tell you, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of hers already. As a matter of fact, Teresa, I'm calling you out too. I want you to come on Control Talk now. We want to be more involved with you. This woman is super, super sharp. Definitely check her website out. And Teresa, we're going to be in touch with you. We want you on Control Talk now. All righty. Anything else on that, Kenny, before we?
Well, two very important things there. One is the link to TechCrunch article by Matt Turk, and it's the battle for connected home is heating up. Now, this takes you down into where we keep hedging around like we're onto something, but this is onto it. This is telling you who the security companies are, Comcast, ADT versus Nest versus Honeywell, and they're taking different approach ways. One controls the communication network, the other one controls the equipment and have the thermostats and the meters, and now they're vying for that house, that resident space. I think one of the most important things is this transitions into the building automation market very quickly, as you can see, if you have iBeacons on every floor or whatever. But now you're seeing the biggest brands in IT are in competition with Honeywell, JC, Siemens, and Schneider Electric. With the advent of smart buildings, smart grid, intelligent energy efficiency markets, we've arrived at a moment where the biggest brands in IT, IBM, Cisco, SAP, are vying alongside the behemoths in the building space, Siemens, Honeywell, Johnson Controls, Schneider Electric, for the attention of building decision makers. Heated marketing battles encourage the development and publication of a wealth of content assets. So the intersection of content and building is not a dull place to be, and that is Teresa Sullivan's website, Building Context. So, I mean, if you go there, we'll be linking back and forth to the best of our abilities, but what a great site and what an intelligent person.
Right, and Teresa, thanks so much for forwarding that post to us. Anything you have that you want us to post, please send it out.
The last thing we had was a sad news from Link Springs Terry Swope with the passing of Bruce Stimpston, the former CIO and dear friend to Link Spring people and to a lot of the industry members. We say goodbye to Bruce, and
our
sad note.
condolences and thoughts and prayers go out to the Link Spring family and to Bruce's family. So yeah, it was a very sad note. So okay, Kenny, I think that pretty much wraps it up for this week. Remember to register to vote. Voting ballots will go out on or around December 15th. You will have to fill those out with your name and email address so that we can make sure that people are not doubling up on the votes. Your information will not be shared with anybody else. The Control Trends Awards are happening January 21st, BB King's in New York City. Single seat prices will be going on sale in the next couple of weeks. I think those are going to be $150 a piece. If you don't want to have to pay that, reach out to one of our sponsors because they have some tickets. And when you get to New York, we have our friend Dimitri Brown from D's Limo Service. You can see D here. We met D when we were up in New York checking out BB King's Club. D is going to work out a special for Control Trends people. You work directly with D. He's going to give you a special price. He'll get you back and forth from the airport if you need to do that, but also on the day of the show. You make a reservation with him. He'll make sure you have a limo to take you to and from the Control Trends Awards. And trust me, Kenny, with all we got planned for the Control Trends Awards, you want to show up in a limo for sure. So be sure to check D out. You can see his website here on the little video we're posting. So Kenny, that's it. A special thanks to our sponsors, all of our sponsors this week, which included Vicon, EasyIO, Mad Mike Marston, DG Logics, and Control Code Data Eye. Special thanks to our guest, Mike Marston and Tim from Japan. Mike Marston and William from Japan. Guys, don't drink too much, and if you do, don't do anything Kenny and I wouldn't do, which actually, now that I think about it, do all the kinds of things we wouldn't do because we're pretty lame right now. But do the things we would have done back when we were in our 20s, guys. Hope you're having fun at that tequila bar. And then a special thanks to Brian Turner, Control Code Data Eye. Brian will be a contributor here on Control Trends, so you'll see more of Brian. And he's the man, the myth, the legend. I'm just a wannabe. I just want to be one of those. But Kenny, thanks so much. Have a great week, and we'll see all of our listeners and viewers next week on Control Talk Now. And you can also find us next week on ControlTrends.org.
Indeed, Eric.